how you doing? This is Universa. It's another episode of Serving Up Comics. Today we're talking Captain America: Brave New World. Um, it's Captain America 4 or Incredible Hulk 2, maybe. But I have a good friend of mine, old friend of the show. You've been on here like three times now, including this appearance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, welcome back, Joe Gerardo.
Hello, hello. How goes it?
Good, good. How you been doing? The last thing we had you on was X-Men 97, which we both really enjoyed. I know you enjoyed.
Yeah, I've been good. It's been a weird Marvel's just still on its up and down, you
Yeah,
know?
schizophrenic.
Uh yeah, it really does feel like a schizophrenic universe right now.
Yeah. But yeah, no, you been writing, have a YouTube channel. If anyone hasn't listened to any other episodes you've been on, tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, right now I currently write for my Substack Tastemaker, where I just talk about comics, movie shows that are very easily accessible and worth watching. The whole point is to be the cure for the endless scroll. So basically trying to point you in that direction so the next time you pull up Netflix or Hulu or whatever, you
Mhm.
can be like, hey, I'll watch that thing that guy said was pretty good that one time.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, yeah. I always enjoy your writing, so definitely have to check that out. But anything you've been reading in the past 6, 7 months you would want to shout out?
Yeah, man, I've read a lot of X-Men comics.
Oh,
Speaking
okay.
of
Yeah, you were
X-Men,
saying.
yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so Recommender's Uncanny X-Force is good. I finally read Ecstatics, which was incredible.
Hmm.
Um, what else have I read? Plenty of good stuff. I read this funny book by Richard Ayoade, called The Grip of Film, where basically it's like what if a film bro wrote a book? It's like a parody of a film bro writing a book. So like
Okay.
every page is just hysterical.
Yeah.
But it's like it's fantastic, and then it's really funny, and then there's moments of profundity where you're just like, that's actually a pretty legitimate insight about like film and the purpose it plays.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's always good talking X-Men with you too. Talking a little bit just before the show, and yeah, it's always changing, but yeah, it's cool to like when there's like a good book to read it, especially.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, right now, some of the main line stuff is hit or miss, but there's like so much good X-Men to read just from years past, from like Claremont, Morrison, Whedon,
Hmm.
uh, just bangers on bangers on
Yeah.
bangers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, just kind of going on to our main kind of discussion. Captain America: Brave New World came out this week. Had like 4 rounds of reshoots or something. But yeah, it's cool to I guess finally see it. Whether liked it or not, but kind of a major thing of this movie was picks up a lot of plot threads from The Incredible Hulk. I'm not sure how you feel about that movie, but was it? It's the second Marvel Cinematic Universe film. And what did you think of that movie originally? Because it came out like 17 years ago, almost.
I mean, I was 16 when it came out. Actually, no, I was 15 when it came out. It came
Hmm.
out before my 16th birthday. I liked it as a kid. I thought it was a really fun Hulk movie. And like, I guess hot take, I like both Hulk movies with age. Like I liked Ang Lee's Hulk and I like the Incredible Hulk. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I'm a big Louis Leterrier fan, and I think both Hulk movies get by the directors. Um, it's a fun action movie. It's got a little pathos to it. Um, I wouldn't have waited 16 years to make a sequel, nor would
Right.
I've, made that sequel Captain America 4, but we'll get into
Uh-huh. Yeah, we will.
that.
Yeah.
uh, but I did like that movie, and I do like to some degree, at least it's finally getting, some acknowledgement because especially after they recast, Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk, it basically feels like the that entire movie was out of sight, out of mind.
Hmm. Yeah, I think not like buried, but only until recently. A lot of plot thread, a lot of characters come back. Like, well, I mean, he did pass away, but William Hurt, Thunderbolt
Yeah, I mean,
Ross.
William Hurt was like Thunderbolt Ross through Civil War and up to Infinity War, RIP to the GOAT. Then
Mm-hmm.
also Abomination appearing weirdly in Shang-Chi
Mm-hmm.
and
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
Yeah.
So I did enjoy Abomination's appearance in She-Hulk, but I also enjoyed She-Hulk more than most.
Yeah. I'm gonna pass on that show because yeah, it wasn't the best. But yeah, I don't know. It's cool to see these plot lines at least picked up because it did end with a cliffhanger with the leader's head bulging, Samuel Stern. So it's cool to like see that, right?
Yeah, at a certain point, it was like not a thing for me. Where
Yeah.
I kind of accepted like, all right, I guess we're just never gonna go see these things happen. Um, and then eventually seeing the way in which they did happen was just kind of like, all right,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of like I guess we'll see that eventually. Sure. Why not? Right?
yeah. And because there's so many, it's odd because like I feel like phase 4 and 5 are filled with so many unresolved plot threads already
Hmm.
that it's is kind of odd going back to pick up things from literally 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah. Yeah, but do you feel like it's too late? It's kind of like just like picked up
yeah,
just for the sake of it, it feels like.
a little bit. Like think about it. There are kids going to watch this movie that weren't even alive when
Hmm.
The Incredible Hulk
No.
came out.
Yeah.
So it is a little odd.
Hmm.
Um like 'cause I know there's that whole weird thing where they can't technically make a standalone Hulk movie because of some weird rights stuff with Universal still.
Yeah, still.
So, which is bonkers. Um, that being said, I don't know if this is the best way to go. Like, if you have to deal with those rights issues, then uh, I think maybe the best step would have just been leaving well enough alone. Like it was what it was. It
Hmm.
served its role within introducing the character. And even in recasting the Hulk, like that
Right.
alone just sort of feels like back in 2012, they were just moving away from most of what that movie was establishing.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't want anything more with Edward Norton trying to rewrite.
Yeah, so it was fine, like having William Hurt was a cool little touch, in phase 3, and I thought that was about as far as it was gonna go. Um, so yeah, I was a bit surprised how much Cap 4 was focused on being an Incredible Hulk sequel as opposed to like a continuation of Falcon Soldier or, you know,
Yeah.
any of the Phase 4 stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, it was kind of yeah interesting as like an amalgamation of Winter Soldier and the Falcon storylines, and then the Hulk is picking up on Sam Bean, the the new Captain America, which it's really glad to see him, seeing him actually in the role because it's really only the last episode. He's
Yeah,
Captain America 4 years ago, and then we haven't seen him since. And then I believe this movie probably got delayed too by writer strikes and as well. So yeah, it's finally here. But Tim Blake Nielsen, it feels like he was like such a great actor, but then I think he was in like Fantastic Four before this. He was in a couple
yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
yeah. He was like I think the character he's playing was supposed to be teased as like Mole Man.
yeah, this Mole Man.
So
I think
he's got a role. I guess up until now, his history in comic book movies was playing villains so far they actually get to be villains.
right. Yeah, but then he was in Watchmen too, right?
Using what?
He was in Watchmen as
Oh
Looking
yeah.
Glass. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Forgot about that.
Hmm. Great show.
Arguably his best superhero role.
Yeah, yeah, but it's yeah, just one of those things. I just wanted to just see him as the leader because it was such a cliffhanger. But I don't know. Were you excited maybe to just see him in the role finally?
Not really. When they announced it, I was like, "Oh, that's a choice." Because it's like again, I would have rather seen this with Hulk shit. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's not so much against
She-Hulk or
uh,
something. Yeah,
yeah, like yeah, it's not so much against him as an actor or the character itself. It's just more so like it was just weird how they went about it. Um,
yeah.
like I do think it would have been more interesting in She-Hulk. And honestly, like, well, I think I like the longer the multiverse saga goes on, the weirder my favorite parts of it are. Because the reason I like She-Hulk is like, at least it does something. Like, at least it's interesting on its own terms. Of
Hmm.
like, it has a point of view, whether you fuck with it or not. And I think that's what I like about it. Either you like it or you really don't. And
Yeah.
I wish, like, I think more things need to be like that. I'd rather
Hmm.
feel intensely like, yo, I get down with that, or that's not for me, as opposed to a lot of the MCU has been kind of like, yeah, okay. But I think, if She-Hulk picked up on the Incredible Hulk threads as opposed to Cap 4, that would have A, made more sense, and B, probably would have got more people on its side, you
Hmm.
know? If it interacted with the Hulk aspect of uh the universe in a stronger way.
Right, right. Yeah, it's just kind of like yeah, it was I mean, I don't know, it's hard to talk about She-Hulk because it's like all the weird like YouTubers too. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't want to
it's like I
be
mean, I
lumped in.
mean that's the thing that sucks, but it also feels like we kind of gotta like just bully those pussies because
Yeah.
it's like they're the most like loud and obnoxious group, and they have like the least interesting opinion.
Yeah.
Like because when we talked about She-Hulk, I remember we're going to get like burritos.
Oh,
And I
that's
thought
right.
your
Yeah.
yeah, I thought your criticisms were pretty apt. Like I understood why you didn't like it, and it wasn't like on some like incel shit. It was just like, yeah, this wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because that was me
Thanks.
with Miss Marvel. Like
Hmm.
I know people like that show, and I
Hmm.
like Miss Marvel the character. Just the show didn't do it for me.
Right. Yeah.
And that happens. It just sucks that like anytime something is with someone black or a woman or queer, the
Hmm.
worst part of the internet has to make that like the defining reason why people don't like it. So then it gets harder to actually have a conversation about like I don't care about those things. I just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. You're just kind of like, all right, this is this camp, and I'm in this other camp that's just doesn't like it based on actual
Dude, yeah,
critical thought reasons, you
see,
know?
I was you when Captain Marvel came out.
Mm.
I did not like Captain Marvel, and it wasn't for any of like the MCU bullshit. It was like I love Captain Marvel, the character, like Kelly Sue McConnaughey's, or
Hmm.
DeConnick, her run. Like I just fell in love with Captain Marvel,
Yeah.
through those books, and I just felt like the movie didn't really live up to the potential of the character. Um, yeah, I had no beef with Brie Larson in the role. I thought she did pretty great. I just thought the movie itself was like
Yeah.
mid,
Yeah.
but
Mid.
it sucked that like the defining rhetoric of the time was just like, how the hell is a woman gonna be a superhero? Never
Hmm.
mind, she's been a character for 20 plus years.
Yeah. 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 It's yeah, fascinating time in media analysis.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like you don't actually have to have any critical analysis skills to be in the business of critical
I
analysis.
don't think so. Probably not. No.
Probably it's probably more profitable to like actually just be stupid.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you were like a YouTube grifter, I'm sure.
It's like, yeah, that's just easy money right there if you just didn't care. Imagine
Yeah.
not caring. That must be great.
Hmm. Yeah, I wonder like how many of them actually like know like what like they're self-aware.
I think some are just doing it for the money, and I think there's a few that are genuinely like about it, but I do think
Greasy.
there's
Yeah.
yeah, but I think there's plenty that like because you've seen like clips of like Star Wars theory, like there's clips of him before he made his weirdo turn
Hmm.
of basically like being like, yeah, I like the sequels and they don't really affect my enjoyment of the originals, and now he's all the
Hmm.
worst of the worst, and it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. It's like it ruined my childhood or
Yeah,
something.
it's
Like,
like
same
yeah,
bullshit.
because
Same
my
bullshit.
yeah, my childhood died when I had to pay taxes, man. Like that's when that died for me.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Oh man, Star Wars stereos. Ugh.
Star Wars fans are just the worst. Star
Hmm.
Wars fans, because it's like uh, the arguments they make are like, do you actually understand what the original movies were about? And it's also weird how they're like, oh man, the prequels were hated. I can't believe that they like disrespected Hayden and all them like that. And then they go around and give the same level of hatred and vitriol to the creative teams and
Yeah.
actors of the sequels.
Do the same thing.
Yeah, it's like, what are we
Oh,
doing here?
yeah. Or there's some in maybe like some of them were in that like documentary. It's like the People versus George Lucas or
George
something.
Lucas, yeah. But
Yeah.
that's what's crazy. Is like they're doing that same thing all over again. And that's like this is the very behavior that resulted in George Lucas selling the franchise. Because
Hmm.
he's like,
Got to.
yeah, it's like I can't please you people. I'm tired of like hearing you yell at me.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess glad we're Marvel fans, all things considered, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'd hate to
Are
be a Star
we?
Wars fan. Or just opposed to like a Star Wars fan, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I'm both. I love like I'm a big Star Wars fan. Like that's why I hate Star Wars fans. Because I'm just like
Yeah.
I like this thing and I want to be able to talk to people about it, but you're just being the worst right now.
Mhm. Yeah, crazy people. But on Marvel fans, maybe not as crazy. I don't know. Maybe they are, who knows? But Brave
Eh,
New hmm
yeah. I feel
Brave
like
New
MCU fans are like normal. There's just, the requisite side of the internet that's always gonna be crazy.
yeah. But Brave New World, let's go into that. Full on spoilers.
Yeah.
Um, well, wait, what's your like gut reaction? Because you saw this Friday, yeah?
Yeah, I thought it was good, not great. Um, it just kind of was a nothing burger of a movie that was really carried by performances.
Yeah, it's there are some good sequences I felt, but yeah, it felt very like studio mandated. But I mean, these are studio movies, but it's just like there's literally scenes where it's like you could see like what was reshot, but wasn't.
Yeah,
Things from previous cuts of the film, like everything was sidelined or reshoot, even though,
yeah.
yeah.
And that it to me, I just wonder what the original cut was because it it feels like, especially when the cuts happened, like they were peak, vitriol about the MCU. People, the cultural shift
Hmm.
was in process.
Yeah,
But it's like you can't knock this movie for being quote unquote woke, as
right.
the lames of the internet would say.
Yeah.
Um, and to me, it's just kind of like, is this the movie you guys want? Like, is this the kind of movie? Because like, this is kind of boring.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask you, like, we'll get to the ending, but it seemed like some of the movie it felt like almost like we should just forgive people, or it's stuff where it's like that didn't make sense, where it's like Sam just kind of lets go. He got like sent to the raft by this guy.
Yeah,
You know,
and there's like not enough tension, but there's like the relationship between Ross and Sam is weird.
almost if he's like a
Um,
new character played by a new
yeah,
actor.
yeah,
Yeah.
it just feels like I liked Falcon Soldier. It was rough. Like it was very like spotty in its
Hmm.
pacing. Um, I feel like it simultaneously like needed more time, yet also took too much time on some of the wrong things, and not enough time on like the interesting things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it had a point of view. Like it had a point of view, and it really interrogated, the charged nature of a black man taking on the mantle of Captain America.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and this, it just had nothing to say about the world. And all
Hmm.
the best Captain America comics are like inherently political,
Yeah.
somewhat thematically dense, like, and that was weird to me because there's like a lot of, just in our world, a lot of interesting there's there. Like we're seeing the rise of like techno-fascism, and not just in America, but globally.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like that's a perfect like setup to have like Hydra come back full throttle of
Yeah.
like, it would not be that hard for Hydra to win. All they have to do is just get their little cronies to make a podcast, and like
Yeah. Baron
the
Strucker goes on Joe Rogan.
yeah, pretty much like, and that would be like that would be an interesting take on like Brave New World of like how what role does Captain America play in a
Yeah.
world where like truth is fractured. People
Hmm.
believe what they want to believe.
Hmm.
That's a much more interesting movie to me than like Red Hulk. What
Yeah. And then
if we were given? Oh, sorry.
oh no, and then you already know he's going to be Red Hulk at the very end too because of the trailers.
Yeah, like what if his heart medication was fucking hulking him out? Like that's like it's just a lot of silly shit in the plotting that
Hmm.
doesn't really like go anywhere interesting.
Yeah.
Um, Everything just feels like surface level, and the parts, and it also like my biggest critique is it feels like Captain America is a side character in his own movie.
Yeah, I would agree because
Like
it's yeah.
it feels like it's the Red Hulk movie, and Captain America's just there.
Spends a lot of time on Ross too, I would say.
Yeah, like it's really his story, like his all the emotional stuff. I don't have a relationship with my daughter. He's trying to get his temper under control. He's dealing with, trying to unify a fractured world. Um, and with Cap, it's just like, what's going on? That's literally his whole plot. It's just
Yeah.
going places and being like, what's happening here?
Poor Anthony Mack. He's trying though.
No, but he's a great Cap. Like
Yeah.
the moments where he had to like really like cap it up, like he crushed it. And I thought it was interesting seeing like how his approach to the mantle is different from Steve's,
Hmm.
and you're using like that counselor background. So he has a more like empathetic approach. Even the way he manages to defeat Red Hulk. Like
Yeah.
that defines who his Cap is. So it's frustrating because it's like, yeah, he can hold the mantle. He's
Hmm.
great. I thought his chemistry with Joaquin was great. I liked the new
Yeah,
Falcon.
I liked him too. Yeah, he was cool.
So it was like there was good stuff there. It just felt so slight. Also, I was really bummed at what the inclusion of Celestial Island basically boiled down to.
Just
Um,
a plot. It's like just a set piece.
Yeah, because I did like Eternals. I'm an
Yeah,
ardent
same.
defender of that movie. I think it should have been a show. I think the biggest problem
That's
with it
yeah.
is it's like it's overplotted, but like Celestials being introduced to the MCU, sick. And it's crazy that like 5 years later we finally get to see like what's happening with the fucking dead Celestial in the sea, and it kind of boils down to like a treaty for adamantium. Like
Yeah.
okay,
Well, I mean,
sure.
yeah, I don't know. I would buy that. It's like, I don't know. It's like the fires over here. I guess there was like waste at some of the
Mm,
beaches, and it's just kind of like there. I don't know what's
mm.
happened to it. I need to look that up, but I don't know. It's like plausible. People could just be like, "Oh yeah, just over there, the
Yeah, I
giant
guess
hand."
yeah. For me, it's just what does it mean that adamantium's in the MCU? I guess my big critique with the MCU as a whole right now
Hmm.
is like if you're going to Secret Wars, that generally results in the timeline or like the world itself being reset, like a hard reset on this universe.
Yeah.
So we're introducing all this shit as we're getting to the finish line. Like Doomsday's next year, I want to say.
Yes.
Um, so we're barreling towards the finish line. There feels no urgency in those stakes of getting to Doomsday,
Hmm.
which makes me much more worried about Fantastic Four because that movie is like has to basically jumpstart the fucking end game and Infinity War of this era, I guess.
Yeah. Pretty
Um,
much. Yeah.
so I'm worried about that. Also, yeah, Doomsday's next year. We're just now having the president be like, "Hey Sam, you should probably like get an Avengers
There's
team going."
get those Avengers. Well, it's
Be like,
like, yeah. I feel like there's like multiple Avengers teams that are still either forming or not there. Young Avengers kind of there.
yeah, like Young Avengers is kind of teased. Like you're teasing all these things, but you're not paying them off within the saga. And the thing you chose to be your endpoint, and you brought up incursions already. So you're telegraphing that like worlds are gonna collide. Um, and the only way that ends, like you can't end that, just things go back to business as usual.
Yeah.
So what's the point of introducing all this shit if, you know, the timeline's reset?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Like I have no idea. Yeah.
Like it's just weird. It's weird. And the closer we get to these Avengers movies, and like, dude, think about like our movies this year are Cap, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four, and only one of those seems to really be like building up or paying off or doing something with the meta narrative.
Hmm.
Um, and with Cap Four, it's disappointing that like there were interesting threads set up for Cap through Phase Four and Five that they completely ignored to make Incredible Hulk 2. Like and that's why like I wonder if like the first cut was legitimately like Cap 4 and they're like this isn't no. What if we made Incredible Hulk 2 instead?
Yeah. Maybe that's what went down. We might not know. Who knows?
Because it just feels like that, you know? Like I wonder if there was or I wonder if there was just like a tonal imbalance between the Cap 4 stuff and the Incredible Hulk 2 threads.
Yeah.
And basically in reshoots they were just like, yeah, we're just gonna do Incredible Hulk 2. Because
Hmm.
like, dude, I thought Giancarlo was gonna be like a mean motherfucker, and he was there for like 3 seconds.
He has
Like,
some good fight scenes. He has good
he
fight
had
scenes.
like he had like that one good fight scene, like where like they blow up the truck, and then we don't see him until basically he gives us the info dump to explain
Hmm.
the plot of the movie.
Pretty
So
much. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the Incredible Hulk 2 stuff was reshot just by virtue of having Giancarlo give us like basically all the essential information to make that plot line work.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be like Rosa Salazar and then Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins, yeah, like bro, you
Yeah.
got my dog Seth freaking Rollins in here. And you just gonna cut him out? Like,
Yeah, he's going to be part of Serpent Society.
yeah,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Visionary, the Luminary. God,
Yeah. Poor Seth. Yeah. I think I wanted to see how Seth Rollins was as whatever Serpent Society character. Right.
I don't like. Yeah, I mean, I love me some Seth Rollins, big
Hmm.
wrestling guy. I wanted to see Serpent Society in general, just because also I feel like that'd have been a fun little tease since Cap 3 was initially teased as Serpent Society before being
That's right.
revealed as Civil War. So
Yeah, I
I thought it was
remember.
like yeah, I mean that was a cute little thing of like actually bringing them into it. Um, but yeah, I was just kind of overall because they kept saying they wanted to go back to the Winter Soldier tone, like a more grounded political thriller. But the thing is, like,
It wasn't.
yeah, it
It
wasn't. Like
wasn't.
you think of it was like you can't make an apolitical political thriller. Like Winter Soldier was about, the line between freedom and security and what are you willing to trade off? Like what lines are you willing to cross um in order to, be safe. And like there was a point of view. It wasn't like, didactic or particularly polemic. Like it was still fairly surface level, but at least it was like actually doing something.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas this really didn't. Like there was no
Hmm.
real like weirdly a movie called Captain America where the president of the United States turns into the Red Hulk has very little to say about
Yeah.
like the world we live in.
Yeah. Also, like, it's either very inconvenient or it's like cursed, but it's like all the actual real world events that kind of happen concurrently,
Yeah.
like someone almost getting assassinated or, stolen elections. It's just kind of like, and then it has like nothing to say, or maybe speculation. Could have been some reshoots to tone it down. Who knows? But yeah.
Yeah, because like I feel like there had to have been a there because like the first writers were Malcolm Spellman and one of the other writers from Falcon Soldier. You get Julius Ona to direct straight off of Loose, which was like
Oh, I
a
haven't seen
very
that.
thorny. You haven't seen Loose? Oh, dude,
No.
Loose is good. That was why I was excited for this movie because Loose is like a very prickly social thriller. Like there's no easy answers in it by the end of it. Like everyone's kind of shitty, but you also can see where everyone's coming from in its
Hmm.
particular viewpoint. And so you get that guy. You tell me you're trying to do a political thriller. I'm thinking, oh man, this is going to go somewhere, and it went nowhere. It just went nowhere. Even like it tried to like take the aesthetics of the political thriller, like
Hmm.
having like the song that winds up triggering the soldiers or like brainwashing them to do whatever the visitor wants. But like I don't know, that wasn't really interesting because the whole
Yeah.
motivation was just like, yeah, man, he said he was gonna let me out and he didn't, so I turned that nigga to the Hulk. It's just like, all right, bud.
It's very like
Go-
long-winded revenge, I guess.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is. Like you get once all the pieces are put together, you just can't help but be like, for sure, man.
Yeah. Right.
Also, bro, you made us sit through the entire damn credits for the only post-credit scene, and it's the
It's one.
weakest post-credit scene.
It's just like another movie
Potential,
coming now
yeah,
in
it's like
next year.
it's literally like nothing that was said because I really thought about it before doing this because I was trying to get my critic brain going, and I was like, bro, all the dialogue, like nothing was said that Sam didn't already know, or at least into it by the fact that like fucking Thanos and the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Ebony Maw, came to Earth. We know there are other worlds. We know there are other people. We
Hmm.
know there are threats beyond the cosmos. Like, what do you mean? There's a fucking celestial in the sea. Of course,
Yeah.
there's threats from other worlds. Like, how is this threat any more grave than
No.
literally all the ones you faced before?
Yeah, he meant alternators though.
Yeah, I guess, dude, but like I I guess they're probably banking on the fact that you didn't see the Marvels.
Hmm.
So, but
Yeah.
even still, like
Yeah.
I'm just the more I think about it, the more
More
like
frustrated.
yeah, it really like dude, if anyone but Anthony Mackie was Captain America, I probably would have had a much worse time. Because
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I think by the strength of him, it was a thoroughly fine movie. Um, because I know it has like the third worst score for a Marvel movie, and I was like, I've seen like I don't buy that
I
because
believe it. Yeah.
I there's more there's like I think it's better than Thor 2. I think it's better than
Love and Thunder.
Quant I think it's better than Love and Thunder. I think it's better than Quantumania. I think it's better than Iron Man 2. I like for me, I thought it's about as good as Spider-Man Far From Home.
That's fair. Yeah, that's pretty fair.
Um, because like Far From Home was good. It had moments, but
Hmm.
how often are you really like, bro, I want to watch Far From Home?
yeah, half of a good movie.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
some people I know for some folks, No Way Home is the Spider-Man movie of their wet dreams. I'm not one of
right.
them.
That's weird.
Uh yeah, for
Kind of
me,
weird though.
Homecoming yeah, Homecoming was like my favorite of the new Spidey movies. Um I think that's like up that's for me, I think Homecoming's like S tier
Hmm.
Marvel. I think Far From Home is like hovering between B and C tier Marvel, and I'd put Brave New World in that exact area of like
Yeah,
there's been far worse movies, but there's also been far better movies.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree there. Yeah, just kind of like winding down. What about Harrison Ford as Red
I
Hulk
thought
and
I thought he was
Thunderbolt?
great. Like he clearly was invested. Like it didn't seem this was like a paycheck role for him, you
Right.
know.
Well, kind of.
I mean, yeah, because like his quote about
Yeah.
the money. But it was very much like he seemed like he gave a shit about the character. He bought into the stakes of the world. It seemed like this was a dude who bought into the MCU.
Yeah.
Um,
I can imagine though being the person that has to explain like what animanium is or like gamma rays to
yeah,
Harrison Ford. He just like was like, what? He
all
seems
right,
like
shit,
so
yeah.
crotchety and grumpy sometimes too. Talking about all this
But
nerdy stuff,
yeah, but
nerdy shit.
I think it's like as an actor, you should buy into the role. I think Harrison Ford's more like, I don't give a shit when you're asking him deep cut Star Wars questions. Like, I didn't write the shit, dude. I was paid to say some lines,
Hmm.
and I did. I liked him as Roth. I mean, obviously, I would have loved to see William Hurt continue it.
Right.
So I think that'd have been cool to actually see him like go Red Hulk.
Hmm.
But as it stands, pretty good. Um, I don't think his president in this was better than the president in Air Force One,
Oh yeah, it's like yeah,
but
yeah. I think Thunderbolt's probably Republican too.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he ran on the theme of Together, so maybe he was a registered independent.
Oh, there you go.
Uh,
Yeah, maybe.
so he could have did what Ralph Nader couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I thought he was good. I mean, again, performances, everyone was solid.
Hmm.
Um, they just weren't given enough. Like it felt like a TV show.
Hmm.
And like it's weird. Like Cap 4 felt like a TV show, and Falcon Winter Soldier felt like a really long movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a really good assessment, I would say. Yeah. It's yeah, just they need to get it right this time. You know? It's,
Yeah, I'm hoping that post Secret Wars they just get it together. Because they're kind of just there's not really a lot you can do, you've spent what the last 4 years building up the multiverse saga. Uh, I think you just kind of got to get through it,
mhm.
and then post that. I just hope they figure it out
Yeah,
because
me too. It'd be nice to
yeah,
enjoy more of the more enjoy these movies, you know? Be
yeah, because
cool.
I know like it's sad that the best Marvel stuff has mostly been shit that has nothing to do with the main story. Like Deadpool and Wolverine was fantastic, and that was just like a Fox Marvel movie more than
Hmm.
a
MCU.
MCU movie.
Yeah, pretty
Uh,
much.
yeah, X-Men 97 was just its own cartoon that had
Hmm.
nothing to do.
Yeah.
Um, Daredevil looks fantastic. I'm pretty sure that's not setting up anything
Hmm.
really with the multiverse saga.
No, not really.
And same with the Thunderbolts. Like I I can't really see this really being a movie where, unless Century and Void fucking rip open a hole and cause an incursion at the end of it.
Yeah, I mean they could. They're that powerful.
Yeah, but like I beyond that, it's just yeah, it's weird. It feels like they're like abandoning a lot of threads that they established, which as a fan kind of makes you go like, well, then what's the point? of like staying current, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
Like
know. Oh.
it's yeah, because I liked Falcon Soldier quite a bit. It had its flaws, but overall, like I'd put Falcon Soldier over Cap 4.
Hmm.
Um,
Same.
but
Yeah.
but and I would have liked to see like if this was more in that vein and continued that more, I would have enjoyed it. Speaking of Soldier, how the fuck is Bucky just a congressman now?
Oh yeah, I was felt like we were missing a lot of detail. Well, he was campaigning, I believe, right?
Yeah, but it's like, how did we get here? Like the last time I saw this dude, he was still going to therapy. He was
Yeah.
risen up Sam's sister.
Well, maybe
Oh,
there's something that happens in Thunderbolts because yeah, I was kind of lost there too.
it was just such an odd change of pace from who we know Bucky to be and who he's been. I need some middle ground to like thread those needles.
Yeah,
Because
same.
my hope for like the Bucky cameo was way more low key of like it'd be great if like Sam goes back to like a cookout in New Orleans and
Hmm.
like Bucky's there posted with Sam's sister on some on shit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
but but something like that as opposed to like I'm gonna be a senator.
It's kind of lame. Yeah.
Like I don't know any senators that are out here like doing Thunderbolts shit.
Hmm.
Are you legally allowed to? So does he lose his race? And that's why he's in the
Yeah, I don't know.
Thunderbolts.
I don't know. That was weird. That was
It's just yeah, a weird detail. I love, their moment because I love those two together. But yeah, man,
hmm
it was odd.
Yeah. Any final thoughts as we're wrapping up here?
Um, I think it's good, not necessarily the step in the right direction I would have liked it to be. It does feel like it was reshot to death. It's like a better Aquaman 2.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
That's a very
like,
interesting, yeah, way to look at
well,
it for sure.
because Aquaman 2 was, again, another superhero movie just reshot within an inch of its life, and you felt it. And with Cap 4, I felt it. Um, and also, okay, fuck, is Cap 4 the Aquaman 2 of the MCU? Because in
You're calling
Aquaman
it.
2, Aquaman felt like a side character in his own movie.
Uh-huh.
And in Cat 4, he feels like a side character in his own movie.
Yeah.
Um, as like a movie to prove that like, both Anthony Mackie the actor and Sam Wilson is more than capable of carrying the mantle. I think it does what it needs to do in that department.
Mhm.
But in terms of setting up new strings, it's not really that intriguing. In terms of the Incredible Hulk payoffs, yay for the people who Incredible Hulk
Five
is their favorite
five
MCU
fans.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy they got the sequel or the payoff to those threads that they've been waiting for. And as a setup, as like basically, leading to the finish line of the multiverse saga, it doesn't really feel like it. Like, think about Winter Soldier. It dismantled Shield in the run up to Iron Man, not Iron Man, Avengers 2. Like a lot of the threads that would set up, where Cap would wind up, where the larger MCU would be, were established in Winter Soldier. Um, that didn't happen here.
No.
Like, you think about Cap movies, they really were instrumental in setting up, the back half of the Infinity Saga. Cap 4 did not do anything uh to really address,
Yeah.
the current state of the MCU.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Well, that's a good way to put it. Oh, well, I guess we'll try again for Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
See
I
what
mean,
happens.
I'm excited for that. It looks more fun than Cap 4. Um, it looks like the most fun an MCU movie's been outside of Deadpool and Wolverine.
Hmm.
The most fun a proper MCU movie's been in a while. So I hope it's good. But for me, all
Same.
eyes are on Fantastic Four
Yeah.
because if that thing flops, bro, it's
Yeah.
gonna it's gonna be a rough next couple of years.
It's gonna be 5 more months though. 5 more months. We
Yeah,
shall
so
see.
I hope it's good. I like the trailer. I thought
Mhm.
it looks good. I like the casting. I
Same.
think they did fantastic with the Thing. Like
Oh,
he looks like he just like
choice
got
of
ripped out of
words.
yeah. I didn't even mean the pun,
Yeah.
but I think he looks like he got ripped out of the pages of a comic, which I loved. Um, I mean, it'll definitely be better than Fan Four Stick.
Oh yeah.
God willing, God
Yeah. Yeah.
willing.
It's not saying too much. Yeah.
um, but who knows? Maybe we'll have the first good Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, no, thanks so much for joining us, Joe. Where can people find you at or anything you want to promote?
First, thanks for having me. Also,
Yeah.
yeah, you can check out my Substack, Tastemaker by Joe Dorado, ya
Mhm.
boy. So basically, if you like comics, movies, shows, and are just looking for, things off the beaten path, definitely worth a subscribe. It's completely free. So you can get new stories every Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, definitely check that out. We'll try to put the link in the bio for that.
For sure. Appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah, so you can find us on Instagram at the Waffle Press Podcast and on Twitter at the Waffle Press, however long that's on. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Gene9892. We're on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We've been professionally unprofessional.